planet is full of realities that defy our imagination. Societies that live alongside deadly predators and care for them as if they were pets. Ancient tribes where a young man must leap over wild bulls, or where women bear scars as a symbol of honor and loyalty. Warriors capable of facing some of Africa's most feared lions with nothing to protect them. And entire populations whose bodies have been modified by evolution to stunt their growth and survive in one of the deadliest environments on Earth. In this new video from Uncensored World, we're going to discover Africa's most extreme tribes. Pay close attention and give us a like, because what you're about to see looks like something out of another world, and yet it's completely real. Let's get started. Number 9. The Hyena Men, or Gadawankura, the tribe that walks the streets with hyenas. Nigeria and Ethiopia. In the arid mountains of Zamfara in northwestern Nigeria, where the Sahel's sand swallows up entire villages, there's a community that seems straight out of a legend. They are the Gadawankura, known worldwide as the Hyena Men. And what they do every day completely shatters everything anyone thinks they know about the relationship between humans and wild animals. Imagine walking down a busy street in an African city and seeing a man walking along, leading a full-grown hyena on a thick chain. Not in a zoo, not in a wildlife reserve. Right on the street, among cars, food stalls, and children returning from school. The Gadawankura have no fixed territory. They are nomadic families who travel through Nigeria and Ethiopia, carrying with them something no other human group has dared to make their way of life. Adult spotted hyenas, baboons weighing over 30 kilos with a bite strong enough to snap a bone, and pythons over 5 meters long. Animals that in any other context would be a deadly threat. Yet alongside these men, they behave with a calm that defies all logic. The question is always the same. How does someone get an animal with one of the most powerful bites in the animal kingdom to walk calmly by their side? The answer has two parts. The first is time. These men have grown up among hyenas since childhood. They have lived with their scent, their sounds, and their behavior their entire lives, which eliminates the instinctive fear that anyone else would feel. The second part is where the story gets really intriguing. The Gadawankura prepare ointments made from herbs and animal fat, the exact formula of which they have kept secret for generations. They apply these ointments to their hands, arms, and necks. According to their accounts and based on what some researchers have been able to document, these substances elicit a calming response in the animals that no conventional training could achieve. Science does not yet have a completely definitive explanation, but there are interesting hypotheses. Some plants in the region contain compounds that, when detected by the sense of smell of certain mammals, could trigger submission responses within the group's hierarchy. In other words, the scent of that ointment would be telling the hyena's brain that the man in front of her is the undisputed leader of the pack. For years, those who saw the Gadawankura simply regarded them as traveling performers, people who went from town to town putting on shows with exotic animals to earn a living. The viral photographs and videos shared thousands of times always showed the same thing. The spectacle, the surprise, the applause. But those who have spent time living alongside these groups tell a different story. The hyenas are not mere props in the show. They are its most valuable asset. They are, literally, its walking capital. When someone in the group falls ill and cannot work, the animal continues to generate income. Businesses and families in areas where formal security is scarce pay to have an alert hyena near their premises at night. Its sense of smell and territorial nature make it the most effective and inexpensive surveillance system on the informal market. Few thieves risk approaching a place where they can detect the presence of a hyena in the dark. And there's one detail that turns the whole picture on its head. When one of these hyenas dies, the grief is real. These men have slept alongside it. They've spent more hours with that animal than with many members of their own family. The bond is genuine, and the loss can affect the entire group's livelihood for months. What appears to be a curiosity that goes viral on social media is, in reality, a system built on centuries of knowledge about plants, animal behavior, and social organization. The image making the rounds around the world is just the tip of the iceberg. Behind it lies something much more akin to a family business passed down from generation to generation than a gimmick to amaze tourists. On a scale of 1 to 10, would you be willing to sleep with a hyena if it meant earning more money? Leave us your number in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And while this is a danger that humans have chosen to live with, in the oldest desert on the planet, there is a tribe that has found the exact opposite solution. One that involves never touching water in their entire lives, even if it means never bathing. Number 8. The Himba tribe, the warriors of red clay, Namibia. In the oldest desert on the planet, there is a tribe where women never bathe, men can have multiple wives, and on occasion they may offer them to their guests as a sign of hospitality. They are the Himba, and they live in the Namib, a sea of sand over 80 million years old, with dunes exceeding 300 meters in height and temperatures hovering around 40 degrees. The first thing that catches anyone's eye when they see them is their skin and hair, completely covered in a shiny reddish paste. That paste is called otjize. It is made by mixing cow's milk butter with ochre powder, a red earth rich in iron. They apply it every morning all over their bodies and hair, and they live this way their entire lives. One thing that is very surprising when you meet this tribe is realizing that they don't bathe. And they don't bathe because in this desert, there is almost never enough water to do so. But removing that red layer wouldn't be a good idea either, even if there were water. That paste serves several purposes at once. On the one hand, it protects the skin from the sun, which is very strong in the desert throughout the day. On the other hand, its scent keeps mosquitoes and other disease-carrying insects at bay. It also helps the body feel less of the cold at night and the extreme heat during the day. In other words, what at first glance appears to be merely a form of body painting is actually like wearing sunscreen, insect repellent, and a thermal blanket all at once. All done with the only resources the desert provides. Himba society also has a structure that surprises anyone encountering it for the first time. It is matrilineal. Inheritance, status, and clan identity are passed down through the maternal line. Although visually it is the men who lead the rituals and manage the livestock, the real power over the family's continuity lies with the women. And this is where one of the tribe's most talked about customs comes in, known as okujepisa omukazendu. It consists of a man, on special occasions, sharing a gesture of hospitality with his wife toward a guest of great importance to the family. For years, this practice was described in the West in a highly simplified manner, as if it were mere submission. But within Himba culture, it is understood as a sign of extreme hospitality, comparable to offering someone the most valuable thing one possesses. And above all, the woman can refuse at any time. The final decision is always hers. Hair also tells its own story. Himba women wear extensions covered in otjize that can weigh several kilograms and are built up over years. Its thickness, shape, and the way it falls convey a woman's marital status, the number of children she has, and her place within the community. Young men wear a specific braid before becoming warriors, which changes completely when they reach adulthood. And when a Himba man dies, his family alters their own hairstyles as a sign of mourning. None of this is random or merely decorative. It is a language that is read with the eyes, without the need for a single word, and which any member of the community can interpret instantly. If you found this way of life fascinating, don't forget to give us a like and tell us what you like most about the Himba. It helps us tremendously to keep creating content as interesting as this every week. In the Omo Valley, several days' walk from here, another tribe has taken body painting to a whole new level. For them, the body isn't just protection, it's a document that anyone can read, if they know how to look at it. Number 7. The Karo tribe, the people who turn their skin into a secret code. Omo Valley, Ethiopia. In the most remote villages of the Omo Valley in southern Ethiopia lives one of the smallest, yet most photographed tribes on the entire continent. They are the Karo, and for them, body painting is not just an art form. It's a way to express who you are without saying a single word. They use white chalk, charcoal, clay, and ochre to draw patterns on their skin that mimic a leopard's fur, a bird's feathers, or a fish's scales. But these designs are not merely decorative. They serve as a kind of identity card painted on the body. A warrior with dots on his chest is showing that he has proven his courage by hunting a large animal. A young unmarried man wears specific lines on his face indicating that he is looking for a partner. And there are patterns that signal that someone is in mourning, letting the rest of the group know how to behave around that person without having to ask any questions. The most curious thing is that these designs change. They aren't always the same. They vary depending on the ceremony, the time of year, or who is visiting. It is, literally, a language that is written and erased every day on the skin. In addition to the paintings, the Karo make incisions in the skin that leave permanent scars. Unlike the paintings, which change, these marks remain forever and recount the most important details of a person's life, which family they come from, and the key moments they have experienced. But if there's one thing that puts this tribe in the spotlight, it's their understanding of marriage. For the Karo, getting married can be one of the riskiest moments of a person's entire life. Marriages are arranged between families, often in exchange for goats, and the accompanying rituals include cuts and marks that the body retains forever, as a reminder of this important milestone. All of this takes place in a village that lives practically as it did thousands of years ago, with hardly any contact with the outside world, and which is now considered one of the groups most at risk of disappearing from the planet. Unfortunately, there are only about 1,000 people left, and with each passing generation, their numbers dwindle. If you've been surprised by this way of speaking without using words, don't forget to hit like. That way, you'll help us introduce more people to tribes like this one. And while the Karo have turned their skin into a language, there's another African tribe that has taken evolution to an even more extreme level. So much so that their very bodies seem to have been designed to blend into the trees. Number 6. The Mbuti Pygmies, the smallest humans on the planet. Ituri Forest, Democratic Republic of the Congo. There is an African tribe where adults are barely taller than a 10-year-old child. They live in a jungle where almost everything is bigger than they are. Elephants weigh 20 times as much. Predators are larger than they are. And the vegetation itself is so dense that it can hide them completely. And yet, they are the ones who dominate that territory. They are the Mbuti Pygmies, the smallest human beings on Earth. Adults measure, on average, between 1.20 meters and 1.45 meters. For a long time, it was thought that this was simply due to poor nutrition and living in very harsh conditions. But the most recent studies have shown that this idea was completely wrong. The Mbuti are not small because they lack food. They are small because their own bodies have decided so. During childhood, they grow normally, just like any other child. But upon reaching adolescence, something in their bodies acts almost like a switch. Growth stops much earlier than usual, even though they have all the growth hormone they would need to continue growing. This raises an obvious question. Why would evolution do something like this? One explanation has to do with hiding better in the undergrowth and moving nimbly through the jungle, even climbing enormous trees with an ease that surprises everyone. And it's true, that helps. But there's another reason, one that's even more surprising. In a jungle where humidity is extremely high and the heat doesn't let up even at night, having a large body is a problem. The larger a body is, the more heat it generates and the harder it is to cool down. A small body, on the other hand, expends less energy and cools down more easily. So for the Mbuti, being small isn't a limitation. It's the most efficient way to survive in that environment, expending as little energy as possible in a place where every calorie counts. Interestingly, they aren't the only ones. In that same jungle, even the elephants that live there are smaller than their relatives in other parts of Africa, for similar reasons. This is also evident in how they hunt. They hunt in groups, using enormous, hand-woven nets that can be up to 100 meters long. While some hold the net, others, including women and children, move forward, making noise to drive the animals straight into it. All of this is coordinated through whistles that mimic the songs of jungle birds, so to anyone unfamiliar with the code, it simply sounds like the normal sounds of the forest. The women are also the ones who build the group's houses, dome-shaped structures made of branches and leaves, which they erect in just a few hours and which provide excellent protection from the rain. When the tribe moves on, they don't take the houses with them. They simply build new ones wherever they end up. Do you think being shorter offers advantages in daily life, or does it only bring disadvantages? Tell us what you think. If the Mbuti have found in their size the key to surviving in the world's densest jungle, the next tribe on our list has come to the conclusion that the best way to survive is to need absolutely nothing. Number 5. The Hadza tribe, Africa's last hunters. Lake Eyasi, Tanzania. On the plains of northern Tanzania, near Lake Eyasi, lives a group of just over 1,000 people who have been doing exactly the same thing for tens of thousands of years. They hunt with bows and arrows, gather fruits and roots, and speak a language made up of clicks that resembles no other language in the world. Nothing has changed for them in thousands of years. They are the Hadza, and many consider them the oldest human group in terms of way of life that still exists today. What's most striking isn't just how long they've lived this way. It's that they've had the opportunity to change, and they've chosen not to. For centuries, they've lived near other peoples who farm the land, raise livestock, and build permanent homes. They've seen how those neighbors live, and generation after generation, they've chosen to continue hunting and moving from place to place, without land of their own or animals to care for. In Hadza society, there are no leaders in the sense that we understand them. There are people whose advice is heeded more because of their experience, but no one can force another to do anything. If someone disagrees with something, they simply leave to live with another group. Nor is there the concept of saving food for the next day. If there is food today, it is eaten today, by everyone, regardless of who obtained it. Tomorrow they'll go out and find more. This way of life yields results that surprise any doctor. The Hadza have very low stress levels, rarely suffer from heart problems or obesity, and sleep much better than average. They work between 4 and 6 hours a day to get everything they need. The rest of the time is spent resting, socializing, and enjoying life. Over the years, several attempts to modernize the Hadza, by giving them houses and land, have ended the same way. After trying that life for a while, they've returned to the savannah. Not because they couldn't adapt to modern life, but because after trying it, they prefer their own way of life. Can you imagine working just a few hours a day, without worrying about saving or accumulating anything, in exchange for a much more relaxed life? Tell us in the comments if you'd trade your current routine for something like that. And if the Hadza have shown that it's possible to live happily with practically nothing. In Africa's harshest desert, there's another tribe that has taken survival to a level that seems straight out of a movie. A tribe capable of hunting without weapons, using only their own legs. Number 4. The San Bushmen, the oldest humans on the planet. Kalahari Desert, Namibia and Botswana. In the Kalahari Desert, one of the hottest and driest places in Africa, lives a people who, according to genetic studies, could be the oldest branch of the entire human family. They are the San Bushmen, and they have been surviving for tens of thousands of years in an environment where water is scarce, temperatures exceed 45 degrees, and they live alongside lions, hyenas, and poisonous snakes. Their ability to survive here relies, above all, on knowledge. They know hundreds of desert plants, which ones are edible, which have medicinal properties, which are poisonous, and which hide underground water. Where anyone else would see only sand and dry brush, a sand person can find enough food and water to survive for several days. Their language is also unique in the world. It has an enormous number of distinct sounds, many of them clicks produced with the tongue. something that anyone who hasn't grown up hearing it finds impossible to imitate, let alone understand. But what has truly left researchers speechless is their hunting method. Most hunters around the world approach silently, strike quickly, and rely on an accurate weapon. The San do something completely different. They chase their prey for hours under the hottest sun of the day until the animal collapses from exhaustion. It seems impossible because animals like the kudu can run much faster than any human. But a San hunter doesn't need to be faster. He needs to have more endurance. When four-legged animals run, they overheat very quickly and have to stop to rest to avoid heat stroke. Humans, on the other hand, sweat all over our bodies and can keep running non-stop for hours. So, while the animal grows exhausted time and time again, the hunter keeps moving forward at a steady pace until the prey can go no further. On top of all this, the San carry a veritable map of the Kalahari in their heads. Without using any paper or devices, they're able to remember where every water source is, every useful plant, and the routes the animals follow. Information they share among different groups whenever they meet. Speaking of information, on Uncensored World, you'll discover the world like nowhere else. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and help us keep investigating every week to bring you the best content. If the San have shown that patience can be more powerful than speed, the next tribe on our list has reached a silent agreement with Africa's most feared animal. And surprising as it may seem, it is the lion that has learned to keep its distance. Number 3. The Maasai tribe. Warriors even lions fear. Great Rift Valley, Kenya and Tanzania. On the plains of Kenya and Tanzania lives one of the most recognizable peoples in all of Africa, the Maasai. Tall, dressed in red cloth, armed with spears and staffs, they walk across the savannah with a calmness that surprises anyone who knows what animals share that territory with them. For years it was thought that the Maasai and the lions had reached a sort of silent truce. The reality is different. The Maasai and lions compete for the same territory. Lions attack their livestock, and the Maasai defend it. And from that conflict, which has persisted for generations, something unique has emerged. In areas where the Maasai live, lions have learned to avoid them. Part of this has to do with a well-known initiation ritual. For a long time, for a young man to become a warrior, he had to face a lion armed only with a spear and shield, face to face, at very close range. Those who passed this test earned enormous respect within the community, and, generation after generation, the lions that survived in those areas were the ones that had learned that approaching a Maasai settlement came at too high a price. The way they protect their settlements also helps. They build circular villages called manyatas, where the houses are placed right next to one another in a ring, with the livestock in the center and a thorn fence surrounding the entire area. To reach the animals, a predator would have to cross several barriers, something many lions simply no longer attempt. The Maasai diet is another of their most intriguing traits. It is based on milk, meat, and blood from their own livestock, which they extract without killing the animal. And here comes another of their best-known traditions. To get married, a man must give a dowry to the bride's family, usually in the form of cows. The more cows and wives a man has, the higher his status within the community, since cattle are, for the Maasai, the most important symbol of power that exists. Young warriors also demonstrate their strength with the adumu, a vertical jump they perform in a group, competing to see who can jump the highest without a running start. It is both a celebration and a way to gain prestige within the group. Today, the Maasai continue to live in one of the wildest environments on the planet, surrounded by Africa's most dangerous animals. And to a large extent, they are respected precisely for that reason, because for generations they have shown that it's not a good idea to mess with them. And if the Maasai managed to earn the respect of lions, the next tribe on our list went on to defeat, more than a century ago, one of the world's most powerful armies, using only spears and shields. Number 2. The Zulu tribe, Africa's most feared warriors, KwaZulu-Natal Province, South Africa. In the year 1879, an army of some 20,000 Zulu warriors, armed only with spears and leather shields, defeated a British army force equipped with rifles and artillery. It was one of the most notorious defeats in the history of the British Empire, and it is still studied today in military academies as an example of strategy. Behind that victory lay a military system designed by a single person, King Shaka Zulu. Before him, battles between tribes in the region were more symbolic than deadly. Shaka changed everything. He replaced traditional weapons with a short spear, designed for hand-to-hand combat, and larger shields. He eliminated the large charging formations that slowed down armies, enabling his warriors to cover long distances very quickly. Furthermore, he trained his men to fight barefoot, accustoming them to walking on hard, painful terrain so they would learn that pain did not have to stop them. But what made the Zulu army truly fearsome was its method of organizing in battle, known as the buffalo horns. The army was divided into several groups. One advanced head-on, drawing the enemy's full attention, while two other groups flanked from the sides until they closed a complete circle from behind. A fourth group remained in reserve, ready to enter once the encirclement was complete. Retreating in disorder was strictly forbidden. That discipline, combined with the speed and coordination of the formation, made facing the Zulus, according to their rivals, like trying to stop water with one's hands. In addition to their military strength, the Zulus also have rituals that are well known today, such as the Maiden's Dance, in which thousands of young women gather at the royal palace to dance before the king as part of their rite of passage into adulthood. Like other tribes in the region, they also maintain the tradition of paying a dowry of cattle in order to marry, which allows some men to have multiple wives. Today, the Zulus are South Africa's largest ethnic group, with more than 11 million people, and their culture remains as vibrant as their reputation as warriors. And while the Zulus proved that discipline and strategy can defeat even the most modern weapons, the last tribe on our list has built its identity around something much harder to measure: just how far a person is willing to go out of loyalty to their family. Number 1. The Hyena tribe, where scars are a badge of honor. Omo Valley, Ethiopia. In the Omo Valley, the very same region we've already visited twice in this video, lives a tribe that has done something few cultures dare to do: turn loyalty into something that can be seen, touched, and permanently etched into the skin. They are the Hyena, a group of between 40 and 60,000 people who raise livestock, farm the land, and keep alive one of the most striking rituals in all of Africa, the Ukuli Bula, the bull leap. To become an adult, a young Hyena man must run completely naked back and forth across the backs of a line of bulls several times without falling. If he succeeds, he becomes a man in every sense of the word. He can marry, own his own cattle, and have a say in the group's decisions. If he falls, he can try again at another ceremony, but the social pressure of having failed is real. This is the part that appears in every documentary, the one that makes the headlines. But there is something that happens before the leap, and it is rarely recounted in the same detail. In the days leading up to the ceremony, the young man's sisters and other women in his family approach the men in charge of the ritual and ask them to strike them on the back with flexible branches, leaving marks that turn into scars. And this isn't something done by force. They are the ones who ask for it, who insist on it, and even sing as it happens. Seen from the outside, the initial reaction is usually one of revulsion. But within Hyena culture, the meaning is entirely different. Those scars are a way of saying forever, I was here supporting my brother at the most important moment of his life. The more marked a woman's back is, the greater the respect she receives in her community. It is not a punishment. It is, as they themselves explain, their way of earning a place and a voice within the group. Women also play a central role in the rest of the ceremony. They prepare the traditional sorghum drink, organize the music, and decide when the time is right for the young man to make his attempt. Without them, the ritual simply does not work. The Hyena aesthetic is also highly recognizable. The women mix animal fat with ochre to create dense, elaborate hairstyles, and wear metal necklaces that indicate their position within the family. The first, thicker enclosed necklace identifies the first wife, and the others mark the place of each of the subsequent wives. All this information is plain to see, without anyone having to explain anything. Cattle, moreover, are everything to the Hyena people. They provide food, are used to pay dowries in marriages, and serve as a central element of the bull-jumping ritual itself. In this culture, a man without cattle is a man without status or a voice. Which of these 9 tribes has surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. We love reading about everyone's favorite. 9 tribes, 9 completely different ways of understanding life, family, courage, and survival. And yet, they all share something. Each has found its own way to survive on one of the most challenging continents on the planet, and has done so in its own way, without copying anyone else. What if we told you that there are places where isolation has gone so far that it has changed people's bodies, languages, and even the way some people see the world? Islands where even dying is forbidden? Don't miss the next video to find out. Click on it, you're going to enjoy it.